It's showtime.
What's up guys, Django Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And with the new, really bad looking Mummy movie coming out starring Tom Cruise, I thought it'd be a good idea to start a brand new series, starting with The Mummy 1, working my way to The Mummy 2, and then the dreaded Mummy 3. So I want to start with The Mummy 1, releasing in 1999. I do have the Blu-ray right here. This is the deluxe edition, and oh, look at that! Admit one free movie ticket inside for Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Yay! Now, this movie is not a horror movie by any means like it was in the classic, but it's an action-adventure movie directed by Stephen Sommers, who went on to do many good movies, you know, good and bad movies, and good movies such as Van Helsing, The Mummy 2, and a couple others. And really bad ones like G.I. Joe and others like out there. So he's kind of mixed with me. But I do love Van Helsing, and I do really like this movie. So deep in the Egyptian desert, a handful of people searching for a long-lost treasure have just uncovered a 3,000-year-old legacy of terror, combining the thrills of a rousing adventure with the suspense of the legendary 1932 horror classic. The Mummy is a true non-stop action epic, filled with dazzling visual effects back in that day, top-notch talent, and superb storytelling. The movie stars Brendan Fraser as Richard O'Connell, an American adventurer who served in the French Foreign Legion and eventually taken prison. You know, he stars in the beginning where he's in that battle. He loses that battle and ends up being captured towards the end. We got Rachel Weisz plays as Evie, who is the love interest or eventual love interest for Brendan Fraser's character. And she is a clumsy yet intelligent Egyptologist. Arnold Vosloo as Imhotep, the immortal Imhotep. John Hannah as Jonathan Carnahan. Kevin J. O'Connor as Benny Gober. And many, many others. Now, what's interesting about Brendan Fraser being cast, I gotta read this real quick. So, the producer of this film actually offered the role of the lead character to Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck, but the actors were not interested or could not fit the roles. Jax and director Stephen Sommers were impressed with the money that George of the Jungle was making at the box office and cast Brendan Fraser as a result. George of the Jungle being one of the great comedies and a great movie altogether, and I freaking love that movie. It just feels so ironic that now Tom Cruise is being cast in the role. He refused back then and would have been like, he's already a great actor as it is, but he would have been even better cemented with The Mummy. But I'm glad to see that Brendan Fraser got the role instead, because it fit with him perfectly. So this movie is fantastic. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie back in the day, and still to this day right now, because of the setting, set in actual Egypt, not in this fake Gods of Egypt shit, and is not whitewashing to an extent where they deliberately cast these characters or have it, you know, have a setting where they completely whitewash it and make it nothing like the Egyptian culture. This movie has slight whitewashing here and there, but it is not to a point where it ruins the film at all. It doesn't make you think, oh, the whitewashing ruined the entire film, like it makes you think like Gods of Egypt. This movie doesn't make you think that. It does do whitewashing with the Egyptian characters, because they're all white. At least they were convincingly tanned. But this movie just does everything so well and makes it a good action adventure film that you can go in and have tons of fun watching over and over again. It's just a great popcorn action movie that you can just have lots of fun with. And the storytelling and characters helps make that dynamic even much more better. It can just be a fun popcorn action movie and that's it. That could all it could go for. But it does have great story, great characters, and just funny. It's pretty funny. This movie is funny overall. And that combination helps cement it as a great movie in my opinion. Now it's set in the present time in the 1930s, I think it was 1930s, 1940s, in which they go off on an adventure to uncover the tomb of Imhotep. It definitely sets up to get into the Imhotep part. It's like half an hour until they discover the mummy itself. But honestly, that setup is just perfectly fine with me, and I really like that. Just setting up these characters that you can get behind. That's what the movie's all about, the characters and the storytelling. You can't just go throw in the mummy and then that's it, like it looks like they're doing with the new Mummy movie. You know, they're actually setting up this movement into the mummy. And it actually has some horror elements that actually make you go, wow, that's pretty messed up, and just goes, oh, you know, there's a couple of jump scares that are just like, really? You know, I'm not a big fan of that. But the horror is actually justified in this movie. It's actually like just like really creepy, and it just makes you just scared inside after you see like the mummy in its first form, and eventually transforms after, you know, consuming other people, and it's pretty effed up. But it's pretty convincing, the horror itself. And you'd be surprised to see like the horror, the action, and the comedy blend together very well. I mean, one moment this movie is just action-packed, the next it's horror, and then the next it's like a comedy thing going on. The comedy just infused with the action just makes it a great film, a great fun film to watch, just like they did with Van Helsing. I wish that movies did, you know, try to go all out and make it, you know, have some heart to it. And this movie has a lot of heart going into it. And honestly, the visuals are kind of, you know, yeah, okay, they are dated. But it is worth getting on Blu-ray without a doubt in my mind. Not so much with the mummy, but with other things going along, like the locusts and these other things going along, like the sand and stuff like that. It really holds up very well. And it's actually set in Egypt, which I do love and appreciate quite a lot. I really do want to see the behind the scenes of this movie because it's an all-time great movie for me. I love this movie quite a lot. And this is when Brendan Fraser was at his height in his career with George of the Jungle, which is fantastic. And now this movie showed he could be a great action hero lead. And he really showed that. And after The Mummy 2, and I think The Mummy 3, it just started to decline. You didn't see him that much, and I just really miss that, because this guy is just a great, charismatic, dynamic action hero, and you just never see that anymore now, and it just really sucks. Really sucks. Once you have good characters, you have good writing, you can just do pretty much anything in a movie, and you could just get behind and really appreciate. And this movie, I appreciate the hell out of. So I think you guys know what I'm going to give The Mummy. I mean, it's a Blu-ray, for God's sakes. I think you guys know the hell I'm going to give this rating. So The Mummy 1999 version gets a... It's fantastic. If you don't own this on Blu-ray, I don't know what you're thinking. This is a great movie and a fantastic movie you can go out and watch over and over again and never really get bored. So next up is The Mummy 2. I cannot wait to watch that and give you guys a review. The Mummy 3, I will probably talk about on what I will do for that in my Mummy 2 review. But The Mummy 1 is done. And moving on to The Mummy 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, and I'll see you, my fellow Mandalorian brothers and sisters, next time. Oh, yeah!